Hey everyone! Nintendo released their new console a few months ago, so let's see what all the brand new ideas are. I have several questions, the first of which is what the f***. The Nintendo Switch has seen amazing success with over 89 million consoles sold, making it the 8th best-selling console ever. However, it is a 4.5-year-old console, which isn't that long compared to, say, the SNES, but it is long enough for the console to show its age, especially when compared to like the Xbox One or PS5. With this in mind, some people are beginning to wonder, what's next besides that? Well, some might say that the Switch OLED edition was the next step in the line. Just because they said that doesn't make them not wrong.
Oh wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
I wouldn't consider this a generational leap, rather an expansion of the existing generation. Think the Game Boy Pocket to the Game Boy or the DSi to the DS. Since Nintendo had the gall to release this console, it's apparent that they want to support the hardware for a few more years. However, this doesn't mean we can't talk about what the future may hold. So, without further ado, or don't, this is my idea for Nintendo's next console. I started out this idea with the Nintendo DS and 3DS in mind, with good reason for doing so. Based on what people are buying out of nostalgia nowadays, being the Game Boy Advance and GameCube, the Nintendo DS and Wii are going to be getting popular here in a few years, with the 3DS and Wii U following that. So I've taken a bit of inspiration from each, but mainly the 3DS and Wii U. Also, since the release of the Nintendo Switch, there won't be going any back to having a box that you can only use on a TV. The system will need to be at least portable, if not a hybrid console. Our finished drawing here is what I'm calling the Nintendo HDS. Sporting a design similar to a cross between the 3DS and Wii U gamepad, the console will include backwards compatibility with the DS, 3DS, and Nintendo Switch. DS and 3DS using both screens, and Nintendo Switch only using the top screen, similar to how the 3DS Virtual Console worked. This would give the system a complete library of newly nostalgic games right from the get-go. The console will have a clamshell design and the top screen will be in 720p like the Switch Lite, with a smaller touchscreen on the bottom. It won't include a stylus, but the touchscreen will be a bit more advanced than that of the 3DS, being more in line with what the Switch already has, just a bit smaller. It will include a button layout similar to that of the Nintendo Switch. However, the analog sticks are going to be more in line with the 3DS Circle Pad, making the system slimmer and easier to close. The console will also include a rumble feature. Maybe not HD rumble though, considering all the features we're already cramming in there. Now, you might be wondering what this button here is. Well, this is the cast button. When you have a secondary box plugged into a TV, you'll be able to cast your top screen to that TV for full 1080p HD picture. Now that all the hardware features are out of the way, we can get to what the system has on the inside. Well, I'm thinking a home screen that's a hybrid between the 3DS and the Switch. You'll still have all the games and apps featured on the bottom screen, with an animation or title on the top when apps are highlighted. On top of that, the top screen will show battery life, your internet connection, and the date and time. This part is just a personal preference, but I would bring back that ambient non-music music to the home screen. It makes the systems that feature it feel way more interesting. Like, look at this. This feels like homework. As far as software goes, they probably wouldn't need to release much to start out. Maybe one big project like a Mario game to get people's attention. Beyond that, they can advertise it as a console that not only plays your Switch games, but your DS and 3DS games as well. As far as different models go, there could be an HDS Lite that's a bit less expensive, but also removes backwards compatibility, TV casting, and is a digital-only platform, targeted towards the audience that only wants the console for the new games. Although digital only didn't really work out for the PSP Go, it may have been due to the idea being a bit too ahead of its time, along with the fact that Nintendo had basically conquered the handheld market with the DS. But digital-only content has caught on in recent years, especially with the rise of streaming services like Netflix and HBO Max. So who knows? And that was my idea for the Nintendo HDS. Now, do I see any of this actually happening? Probably not. However, it is fun to imagine what you would do if you were given creative control over what's next with the companies you enjoy. So there you have it, my idea for Nintendo's next console. Well, all this talk about new consoles has got me feeling that new console itch. It's a bit rough being a Nintendo fanboy, especially when it comes to waiting for the next big thing. So, to satisfy that craving until then, I've decided to buy a non-Nintendo game console. Where the f*** is Mario?